Good morning, and thanks for being with us on this beautiful Friday. I'm Amy Lange.
Hey, and I'm Brandon Hudson. A calm morning after a wild night last night. The National Weather Service confirms a tornado touchdown in Monroe County.
Yeah, and today members of the small Woodland Beach community and surrounding areas are left to clean up the damage left behind. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch is live with the very latest. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Amy and Brandon, and there's certainly a lot of damage left behind here in Monroe County. Now, the National Weather Service, it did confirm that a tornado did touch down here in Frenchtown Township last night. They plan to release the findings of their survey a little bit later on today, and that should detail the path of that tornado as well as its strength. But you do not have to read that report to see just how powerful the storm was.
It went from nothing to all of a sudden everything was going sideways.
As far as the eye can see damage, and lots of it, from what the National Weather Service is now confirming was a tornado that touched down in Frenchtown Township on Thursday night. This viewer video showing it as it hit. It was a sight, a sound, a surreal feeling that will stay with these residents always.
I came back outside and the trees, all these big trees that are up here, the tops of them just went like this and just started bending over. And it was just, I've never seen a tornado. I've never been in a tornado.
The high winds and heavy rains from that powerful tornado that blew through Monroe County around 6:30 or so on Thursday tossed trees on top of homes, their roofs buckling from the weight. This house and the cars that were parked and are now crushed in front of it in the Woodland Beach area, probably among the most devastating of the destruction out here.
We're all relaxing in the house. The storm started rolling through, and all of a sudden the wind just blew up out of nowhere. I went to look out the window, heard a loud crack, and saw tree limbs coming in the window. After it finally passed, we came outside and tree was down, took out the truck, took out the Jeep, and punched a couple holes in the roof.
The cleanup here and in many of these communities along Lake Erie will take time and a lot of hands. As soon as the weather did settle, neighbors were clearing debris from the roads and chopping up trees that once stood tall but were leveled by this latest storm. Out of the darkest of times, so much good shining through.
We moved here about a year and a half ago, and the community that we lived in prior would never have helped each other out like this.
And you are taking a live look right now at sky flocks flying overhead of Frenchtown Township, giving you a bird's eye view of the damage from that tornado. Now, I did talk to several people out here today. They tell me that they did not even get alerts on their phone until right as that tornado was hitting, and they say they did not hear any sirens out here whatsoever. They say, though, that shortly after the tornado had passed, emergency crews were out here. They were checking to make sure that everyone was okay, that everyone was safe, and everybody was. No injuries were reported in this. We are live in Frenchtown Township. I'm Robin Murdoch for Fox 2 News.
Robin, you just look at that damage, and it's really a miracle that no one was hurt, especially with them not getting an alert beforehand or hearing any kind of siren. Was it just so fast that there wasn't an alert available?
You know, that's a good question, Amy, and I did make several calls this morning. I called the Monroe County Sheriff's Department as well as the Emergency Management Division to try and figure out exactly what was going on with that, if there was an issue with the system, or perhaps that it just hit so quickly that there was not time to alert anyone. We are still waiting to hear back. So while we wait to hear back about that, as you can imagine, the cleanup here, it is going to continue throughout the day and for the next several days. Back to you.
All right, Robin. Yeah, great to see everybody pulling together and working together, and really in good spirits despite a big mess out there. Thanks so much, Robin Murdoch. As always, we appreciate you.
Well, Frenchtown Township wasn't the only place. You heard, what you heard was hail hitting in someone's backyard during yesterday's severe storm. I know a lot of people got it here in Detroit on the way home. But look, these hailstones, they piled up. They were looking like blankets of snow.
If it's not the cottonwood, apparently it's the hail. All right, the wild weather has moved on, thank goodness. And so what is now on tap for the weekend?
I think it's a lot of sun. I'm going to hope so. But the person who can answer that is Weather Authority Lori Pinson. Jason, who is the forecast? Lori.
Thank you so much there, Brandon and Amy. We take just a quick peek back, and this just gives you an idea of how extensive the coverage of hail was. All these blue areas indicating where there was hail coming on down, even down there near portions of Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti, and farther south in portions of South Monroe as well. But as we widen our perspective right now, the area of low pressure that brought us that severe weather has moved on away. You can see just a little bit of cloud cover still lingering in place as high pressure builds in. So that means that we will have a great weekend heading on up. As we take a look right now, various amounts of cloud cover in place, some peaks and sunshine over there in Pontiac, 61 degrees, 64 Windsor. Good morning to you. Over there in Adrian, you're at 66 degrees, Port Huron in at 63. Our trend line, the little yellow line, indicating no rain in the immediate forecast for us. So we did pick up a little bit better than 6/10 of an inch of rain, still in a bit of a deficit, about 2/10, but we could make it up down the line, just not so for today. 74 degrees is what we're looking for. A sun and clouds, a breezy day as the winds pick up, and a quick peek ahead for your Father's Day weekend shows that we're looking for highs around 80 degrees on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, and 83 on the holiday. We'll talk about, will this trend continue? Coming up a little bit later on. Brandon, Amy.
Lori, well, we do have a traffic alert to tell you about this morning. A busy stretch of highway in Detroit is shutting down this weekend.
So starting at 9 o'clock tonight, the I-96 local lanes will be closed in both directions between Southfield Freeway and the Davison. Fox 2's Kelly Rowe with more.
Quite a few projects this weekend in Metro Detroit that are going to give you some trouble and slow you down. The biggest on the Jeffries heading eastbound. Those express lanes are closing between Outer Drive and 94 for the duration of 9 o'clock Friday all the way until 5 a.m. Monday morning. Now here's where it gets tricky. On the westbound Jeffries, the express lanes are closing between 94 all the way over to the Southfield Freeway. But the local lanes of the westbound Jeffries are closing from the Davison to the Southfield Freeway. That means for this stretch, there's a total closure in the westbound direction. So look for those detours, but I think the point is maybe trying to avoid the Jeffries this weekend. A ton of projects and ramp closures that they got to get through. On top of that, southbound 75, a triple lane closure there between 8 Mile and 94. The duration of this is 8 o'clock Friday till 5 a.m. Monday morning. All this info is on fox2detroit.com/traffic, plus the traffic section of our app. Guys, back to you.
Well, in addition to construction on the roadways, Michigan State Police want to remind everyone that those speed limit signs, they're there for a reason. MSP is stepping up speeding enforcement starting tomorrow and running through the 25th. Now, police say people seem to be driving faster and dying in greater numbers these days, and it's not just on the freeways. According to the feds, in 2020, 87% of all speeding-related traffic crashes were on non-interstate roads.
And in court this morning, a judge has reduced the bond for the former DDOT bus driver facing charges for a fatal pedestrian accident. Geraldine Johnson is on house arrest and has been ordered not to drive.
She's also been fired from her job on the city, but what remains is unclear is why Johnson was allowed to continue to drive a bus in the first place after previously being involved in a fatal crash along with a few other crashes. Fox 2's Camila Mary has a closer look.
This is video of a Metro Detroit man getting off a DDOT bus in 2015. Just as he gets his bike off the bike rack on the front of the bus driver starts driving and hits him. The driver, Geraldine Johnson, immediately realizes what happened. The passenger, Joey Davis, is killed. Fast forward 8 years, Geraldine Johnson is charged with hitting and killing a pedestrian, Janice Bauer. Johnson was behind the wheel of a DDOT bus.
So the court does find you to be a danger.
The question everyone is asking, why was Johnson allowed to keep her job as a city bus driver after hitting and killing Joey Davis? Attorney James Harrington represented Davis's family in a lawsuit against the city.
It's absolutely unacceptable, should not be tolerated, and this should have been prevented. She should have been taken off the road after the Joey Davis incident had the city done its job.
The city of Detroit settled that case out of court for $4.5 million, which takes us back to Geraldine Johnson and her driving record in the years following Davis's death.
That there have been crashes either with a bus or your personal vehicle in 2018, 2 in 19, 1 in 20, 1 in 21, 1 in 22. And then we have this matter today.
The city of Detroit declined our repeated requests for an interview, instead choosing to release this statement saying, quote, "Since this terrible accident occurred 2 weeks ago, we have been engaged in a full review of Ms. Johnson's record and of all related departmental policies and procedures. Once that review is completed, we will be better positioned to respond to questions about her driving and employment history with DDOT." Following the accident, Ms. Johnson was terminated.
What we have seen in this case is an absolute failure and a betrayal of trust that we place in government.